Good evening and welcome to this edition of the 2020 OCAA Women's Basketball Championships on We Digital Productions. Hello everybody, Dominic Papa, glad to have come along for the ride with you here this evening. It's the host, St. Clair College Saints, set to do battle in this tournament. They'll take on the George Brown Huskies. The Huskies come in with a record of 13-3. The Saints are at 14-4. This is the third broadcast of the day for us here at We Digital. Two pretty good games earlier on in the contest. Let's take a look at the updated scores and also what is still to come. Earlier in the day, the first game of the tournament saw the Algonquin Thunder knock off the Lambton Lions 66-52. You just watched the Fanshawe Falcons beat the Durham Lords by 14. Saints playing right here at the 6 o'clock hour. And of course, the final game of the first day of the OCAA Women's Basketball Championships will feature the Sheridan Bruins taking on a very good Humber Hawks team. Again, George Brown comes into this tournament with a 13-3 mark. They have a key player in Zay Sellers. She knows that playing this game, the first game of the tournament against the host team, is a special game.
I believe that we're the underdog, so this is just an extra challenge. We didn't even get to this point last year. So for us to play the host team, it's just going to be it's a blessing in itself.
Zay Sellers, very exciting player for the George Brown squad. Also head coach Warren Williams. He knows it's going to be tough and that there's going to be a pretty good crowd here tonight. It'll be loud cheering on this Saints team, but he has his team focused and ready to play the host team.
I think it can be both. I think the atmosphere is going to be electric, and we love playing in front of big crowds. I think that playing the host team, there's a lot of pressure on the host, obviously, and since the format has changed, knowing that maybe the team that loses tonight is out is something that both teams will have to think about, but especially as a host, it does add a little bit more pressure. So we're just excited to kind of get out there, do our thing, and may the best team win.
That is, of course, Coach Warren Williams of the George Brown Huskies. Of course, the St. Clair College Saints worked very hard to become the host of this tournament. The feeling was that their basketball team was going to be a very good squad this year, and indeed they have played very well, the Lady Saints. A 14-4 record, as mentioned. They played very well throughout the season. They had some adversity through injuries, played through it, and this team really focused right now are the Saints, and they're hoping to make some great things happen in the next couple of days here. They'd love to repeat as a medalist. Of course, last year they won a silver medal at this same tournament. Kirsten Thompson of the Saints, she remembers that medal last year. What do you think of the chances?
Well, definitely losing so close last year, having the silver and we wanting the gold, only losing by 6. I think it just makes us want it even more. So we've been practicing very hard every practice. We want it more than ever. So I think it pushes us more.
That's Kirsten Thompson's hoping to get another medal. The head coach, Andy Kiss, has done an outstanding job with this squad. He's made them very competitive. He loves the idea of playing here at home. He thinks it's a definite advantage for his team at this OCAA championship.
There's no question it's an advantage. We're very excited. It's the best venue in the OCAA. Everything is first class, and it's our home gym. It's definitely an advantage. We practice here all year. We have familiarity with the building. You know, mentally it's an advantage because there's a comfort level being that it's your home gym. If we get a raucous crowd going, that will enhance the advantage. So that's our hope, obviously. But we have to do our job first to bring the crowd in. We have to get wins.
That's the outstanding head coach of the St. Clair College Saints, Andy Kiss, liking his hometown advantage here, and hopefully it can work in favor of the Saints. So that gets you a little bit of a setup before the tip here. When we do come back to the Sportsplex, it'll be the opening tip and the call of the game. Justin Prince and Aaron Sanders will have all the action for you. It's the Saints set to do battle with the George Brown Huskies. You're watching the 2020 OCAA Women's Basketball Championships on We Digital Productions.
Hey, Herman Moore here, Detroit Lions legend and 4-time Pro Bowl player. Hey, get your tickets and join me for the 15th Annual Westby Awards on Tuesday, March 10th at the Caboto Club.
The 15th Annual Westby Awards are brought to you in part by Unifor Local 444, Lucier Glove and Safety, Hotham Building Materials, AM 800 CKLW, and We Digital Productions.
Are you passionate about a particular sport? Would you like to combine it with your education? Are you thinking about a career in one of the many rewarding construction-related trades? Do you love subjects like science, technology, engineering, or math? Take a look at the academies of the Windsor Essex Catholic District School Board. You'll be glad you did. And years from now, you'll look back on your high school days as the best times of your life. The academies of the Windsor Essex Catholic District School Board. We're with you all the way.
Hi, I'm DJ Smith, head coach of the Ottawa Senators. For the best in local sports coverage, We Digital.
Welcome back, everyone, to Windsor, Ontario for Game 3 of the OCAA Women's Basketball Championship between the George Brown Huskies and the St. Clair Saints here on We Digital Productions. Justin Prince alongside Aaron Sanders of the Monson Time Express broadcast booth as we get ready to go for the start of the evening matchups here in Windsor. First things first, it's time to take a look at the stat lines entering tonight's matchup. First with the George Brown Huskies. George Brown entering tonight, looking to try and come away with the W, 13-3 on the campaign as we look at them on your screen.
It's just a fantastic campaign for the George Brown Huskies. JP ended up second in the East, coming on a very, very strong winning streak. 7 games, if you even include the crossover playoff games, 75.5 points per game. That's a high number, especially in the Eastern Division.
Absolutely, that is also fourth in the entire OCAA. The team they're taking on, however, also strong when it comes to scoring, as well on the defensive end. The St. Clair Saints enter today 14-4 in the regular season, and they're going to be looking to try and get the W. As performances get underway, let's try and take a look at those St. Clair Saints stats for today's action. As St. Clair looks to try and get the victory on the home court, it's not as simple as being the host. You want to come up with the W.
Absolutely. It's been a couple of weeks since they last played a game, and on top of that, they've been practicing hard. We were at their shoot-around yesterday. They've been raring and ready to go, and we've seen a little bit. They've been improving their game a bit, especially from downtown, as we take a look at the band performing pregame ceremonies.
Yes, indeed. All the early pregame celebrations getting all set to go here at St. Clair College. The St. Clair Saints are just moments away from having their players exit the tunnels to the left side of your screen. Let's take a quick listen in to the band. And the reason for this type of fanfare, the stands are packed with hometown fans here in the Rose City to catch today's action to try and cheer on the Saints.
You have to take advantage of your home court, no question about it.
Indeed. Some of the things to keep in mind with St. Clair, mind you, they're one of the top defensive teams entering the tournament. Third in points per game allowed with 56.8. They also only allowed 21.8% from deep. That was also third.
Well, they have very powerful players that also plays tough defense, too. Like, take, for example, Nora Bazzi. We've known her for shooting at her hot spot at the three-point land, but when it comes to the defense, she stays active right in the mid-range game, and she usually takes away the ball for a fast break opportunity for St. Clair.
Indeed. Bandstand, as you can see, just finishing up their performance to the hometown fans at the St. Clair College Sportsplex in Windsor, Ontario. The players now get all set to go to rush the way of the doghouse, and every time we see the doghouse, it means one thing: the pyrotechnics in full force for the hometown Saints. Starting lineups now being introduced across the arena for tonight's action as the fans continue to file on in. Should be an absolute thrower. Let's take a look at those starters right now. St. Sellers starts alongside Coco Sauvé. Rachel Steer, a transfer player from St. Lawrence College in the previous offseason, starts alongside Victoria Lawrence. And Ty Bent rounds out the starting five for the Huskies. For the St. Clair Saints, it'll be Kirsten Thompson making the start alongside Anya Lichny. The Casella twins, Logan and Jenna, start alongside Nicole Tam, the fifth-year senior. That's a look at the starting fives for today's matchup. George Brown will be wearing their white jerseys with the blue trim. St. Clair will be wearing their black jerseys with the yellow and green trim for tonight's matchup. Tonight's officials as well, Troy Bennett, Amy Cotton, and Michael Bronin for this evening's tilt. Should be an absolutely entertaining one as we get ready for the pyrotechnics for the left side tunnel.
And it's going to be a loud one too, and I don't mean the pyrotechnics.
Take a listen in as the fireworks get ready to boom at the St. Clair College Sportsplex.
Boom.
Taking a look at the stats now for St. Clair. They qualified as the tournament host, but as mentioned, they wanted to win their way in. Third in the West Division entering the tournament.
One of their finest seasons in the last few years, JP, and they have a lot of star players, no question about it. You talked about the Caceres sisters. We also talked about Nora Bazzi, but you have to talk about the heart and hustle, and I think it comes down to Anno Lichny, who played with a key injury and was able to come back in the second half of the season. Same with Nicole Tam. So with the addition of those players, that really inspired this team to put on a very strong run at the end of the year.
Absolutely. St. Clair entered the tournament on a 3-game win streak. However, they were also winners of their 6 of their final regular season games on the schedule. George Brown in comparison, Aaron, though, they came into this tournament winning 7 straight matchups, including the postseason.
It's all about consistency, too, and that's what this George Brown team is all about. They've been like that for the last 5 years. It's been spearheaded by one player, I'm sure, Zay Sellers.
And Sellers, definitely somebody to keep an eye on. We're discussing this with Royal Church just a couple days ago. One of the top players on offense, and where the offense usually goes through her direction. There's a reason she was a first-team All-Star of the East.
Well, think of it. 4th in scoring, 19.3 points per game. 4th at the free throw line, 82%. And listen to these stats. 2nd in total assists, 6th in total points, 308. And she scored a career-high 31 points in her regular season finale against Georgia a couple of weeks ago.
A tough player to stop. Keep an eye on her along with Victoria Lawrence. In the lineup, Lawrence, in comparison's sake, 8th in the OCAA in scoring. About to get underway from Windsor, Ontario for the start of the evening slate of matchups. The quarterfinals, the OCAA Women's Basketball Championship. To tip things off for St. Clair, it'll be Nicole Tam, the 5th-year senior. She'll tip off against George Brown. But first things first, a ceremonial tip-off led by Kathy Craig, a former member of the St. Clair Saints basketball team many years ago. Was an employee at St. Clair College for many years, now works at the St. Clair College's Employment Center.
You talk about going full circle. What more can you ask for?
Happy to see her in the building tonight. She stopped by and said hello before tonight's opening tip here at the Sportsplex. We're happy to have you along with us for tonight's action on We Digital Productions. The fans getting ready to get up on their feet for what should be a thrower between George Brown and St. Clair. Tam tips it off for the Saints. She'll go up against Lawrence. The other jump circle. We're underway from Windsor, Ontario. Logan Casero with the ball. Passed along to Ulichny on the outside. It's one back to Tompkins. Outside for 3. Doesn't draw iron. Rebound picked up by the Huskies. Taken up quickly by Lawrence. Lawrence drives straight to the cup for the bucket.
And we've seen this all afternoon, JP, how both of these clubs wants to gain the momentum early on in this game. We've seen St. Clair take a long 3, but George Brown going right to the dagger immediately. To the cup, 2 points.
Tompkins again gets it right the same spot as before. Across court to Janica Serra for 3 in response. Yes, she's got it. First bucket of the game for St. Clair comes from beyond the arc. Setting things back up as the offense of the Huskies. Outside Lawrence. Cuts by the defense. Can't make it in this time. Rebound picked up by St. Clair. Jenica Serra pushing up the tempo for the Saints. Looking Serra outside to Ulichny for three. Gets in the bouncing.
And just a good shot option, but what impressed me was the ball movement from the fast break.
Absolutely. And mind you, St. Clair coming into the tournament, just 25% from deep. However, two of their top three-point shooters already on the board from beyond the arc in the first 90 seconds of the first quarter. 6-2 the score for the Saints. No going from George Brown.
And nobody from George Brown was there to contest that rebound.
Logan Caceres set things up at the top, this time to Nicole Tam in the post, nearly poked away. Ulichny back to Logan Caceres. Passed across the bounce, Tompkins down the base. Finding Tam, rejected away by the Huskies. George Brown takes it back up. Slow back down by Bent. Lawrence, just inside the arc. Back outside, Sellers. And with the man in her face, no good. Rebounded by Tompkins off the tap from Jenica Serra. Really stripped back away by Logan Caceres. Quick pass to Logan Caceres for the free throw line off the back of the rim. Whistle called on the floor. First personal from either side. Comes in contact at the free throw line. Inbound coming up for St. Clair down the baseline.
It appeared to be a round where Anna Ulichny was fighting for that board. I mean, she was sandwiched between Zay Sellers and another one of the Huskies.
Victoria Lawrence is the one who gets the personal first foul for her in the tournament, first team foul. Jump shot off the inbound, no good. Tap for a fresh 14 for St. Clair. Outside, Logan Caceres for three. Off the right side of the rim. Tap for the board, picked up by Rachel Steer. Steer passes it out of the pressure. Lawrence takes it back up once again. Pass back outside. Steer over Logan Caceres, no good. Jenica Serra gets the rebound. Approaching 3 minutes into the first quarter here on We Digital Productions. Justin Prince alongside Aaron Sanders, the Monts on Top Express broadcast booth. St. Clair leads 6-2 over George Brown. Tam gets it in the low post. Back outside for three. Logan Caceres gets it.
And there's no question that St. Clair is just unconscious from three-point land right now.
A very strong start from deep. All three made field goals from the Saints. All threes. That time the step inside leads the bucket for Benton on the Euro.
And Tay Bent with just enough separation just to get that floater to go.
Logan Caceres tries to pass it away, gets it stripped instead by Rachel Steer. George Brown going slow tempo this time. Warren Williams, the fourth-year head coach of the Huskies, calls the play from the sideline. Pass to the post. Sauvé. Over top, Logan Caceres can't get it to drop. Rebounded by Tam. George Brown trying to provide pressure. Ulichny on the transition. Jenica Serra steps in, has it poked loose. Back outside to Logan Caceres. Down to the post, outside Tompkins. The jump shot drops.
And you know, it was a smart decision for Kirsten Thompson to get over and down to the corner. Nicole Tam had her back turned to the basket, so that led to that quick pass for Tompkins to get that J to go.
And St. Clair's trying to apply their pressure on the press. Tapped out of bounds. Possession goes to St. Clair.
Talking about the pressure right there, and it's one of the hardest spots to get out of, JP, whether it's from the baselines or the sidelines. You have to be ready to give that ball up or dribble it right out of there.
You can see the ball movement going from inside to out. Sets up Tompkins. First substitution of the game brings Nora Bazzi to the floor for St. Clair.
And that's basically the same game plan we have seen from the past two games, JP, going inside and out, and that's the way the game of basketball is changing these days.
Indeed. Meanwhile, off the front of the rim, it goes from Jenica Serra. 11-4 run to start for the Saints.
Full court pressure.
Stolen back away by Jenica Serra. Quick shot, doesn't draw. Rebounded by Sauvé. And St. Clair continues to apply the full court pressure right off the inbound. Forces the turnover, stolen away by Tompkins. Passed along to Bazzi on the bounce. Tompkins pulls up for the mid-range. No good, chases it on miss. Still 15 on the shot clock, draws the whistle. Second foul against the Huskies this quarter. This time on the push.
And honestly, on that possession, it was all about keeping your head up and being aware of the situation. It went from the fast ball movements to just going right down to the basket, looking up to see who's defending you. That's how you take advantage of a double and triple team. You just let the contact come to you.
Foul that time goes against Ben. Substitutions bring Bronte Stark and Samuel Hack in onto the floor for George Brown. Transition play, whistle drawn on the pass. At that time, Lawrence drawing contact from what appears to be Tompkins.
It's just that base on the drive to the basket, and Kirsten Tompkins just had her hip right towards her, and George Brown was able to take advantage of it.
First personal against Tompkins, first team foul for the Saints. Just past the halfway point of the first quarter, 11-4, St. Clair. Drive off the screen, Sellers. Looking to wake up on offense, still looking for a first point. Outside, the jump shot drains. Hack on the bucket.
It just takes that extra pass to get open, and Hack was able to knock it down.
Meanwhile, the Saints trying to go back to the corner. Logan Gacera on the drive, knocks over the defender, no whistle. Rebounded, picked up by Lawrence. Lawrence has it stripped loose by Elichny. Back up to Logan Gacera. Bazzi calls for it. Logan Gacera shoots it. No good. Tapped to Bazzi for the rebound. The quick jumper can't get it a drop. Tapped around, rebounded by George Brown. Khalid Ahmad trying to reach in on the floor for the Saints. Ahmad alongside Logan Gacera, Yelichny, Janik Gacera, Norbazi, the 5. Sellers slows down the offense, 10 on the shot clock. Pick and roll, coming with Stark. Stark the quick J, no good, picked up by Logan Gacera. Fast break once again to Ahmad. Underneath the cup, keeps it inbounds. To Logan Gacera on the cut, stripped away once again, this time by Stark. And the Huskies, one of the top teams when it comes to steals per game, 14.9 throughout their campaign.
And just because you're driving right down to the basket doesn't mean you're going to get away scot-free. They're very active when it comes to their hands, and that just explains the good defense they have.
6 on the shot clock, however, pass goes off the right hand of Stark, get out of bounds, turned over by the Huskies. Back onto the floor comes Tompkins along with Tam after this play.
Here's just one more look. You see Zay Zellers. She knows she's going to be met with that pressure. And that pass was just too far for Bronte Stark.
The defense just looked like it was almost smothering that time from Logan Gacera, though, to force that overpass.
Well, that's what you need to do. You have to keep players and the team outside instead of in.
Exactly. And Tam passes it out to Ahmad meanwhile. Tam from the mid-range, can't roll it in. Lawrence very active on the glass so far. Was 9th in the OCAA in rebounding in the regular season. 9 rebounds a game. The second team East Division All-Star passes it down low. Sauve, no good on the shot. St. Clair possession. 11-7 the score. All of a sudden, George Brown waking up. One thing to note, rebounding identical on the glass. 9 boards for each side. 3 offensive glass rebounds, though, for the Saints.
Yeah, St. Clair has been doing it on both ends of the court when it comes to the glass. You have to be versatile, especially in the tournament.
Pass around the defense to Bonzi. No good down the baseline. Taken up quickly for the transition. Hack. Stripped
Good
away
strip.
by Bonzi.
My goodness.
Out of bounds down the baseline. And what a play by Norbazi.
And remember what I said at the top of the telecast about how St. Clair has some strong defenders. From Khalid Ahmad to Norbazi just chasing down and just swatting that ball away.
Forcing the turnover that time as Tam sets it up outside, approaching 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. The pace flying by in this matchup so far. Tompkins to the post, Tam on the spin, no good. Tompkins keeps it alive, passes it to Tam, instead it's turned over.
Yeah, Tam had her head turned on that breakaway.
Sellers got credit for the steal that time. Setting things up once again is Lawrence. Lawrence tries to pass it away, and that time turned over, touched by George Brown on the tap back.
And honestly, George Brown better count their blessings right now, because if Tam paid attention and took that ball away, it would have been a quick 2. They would have gave it away.
Inbound, nearly stolen away. Pressure at the half court. Poked loose, stolen away by Lawrence. Gives it off to Stark for the bucket. Barber's chair timeout called, the first of this matchup. And all of a sudden, after such a strong start from the Saints, the Huskies all of a sudden control the momentum.
Well, it's miscommunication from St. Clair's end, and that's how you take advantage of a game. You go with the steals and you start with the fast break, and now at the moment it seems like George Brown has the advantage at the moment. Take a quick look at the stats after the end of that. Not a lot to say in terms of scoring because it's more balanced, but George Brown has the advantage.
One thing to note, George Brown, we mentioned the momentum with them. They were second in the East Division behind Algonquin. The one loss for the Thunder on the season came in the hands of these Huskies.
Yeah, once again, the East Division has been a very tough squad. I mean, we've seen Algonquin play today along with the Durham Lords. They're worthy of that record, but George Brown, if you're able to beat Algonquin, then that says a whole lot about your team.
Absolutely. And many fans making their way down Highway 401 to cheer on George Brown. You see some of those fans up on your screen amongst this jam-packed crowd tonight. But if you're Coach Andy Kiss, what did you discuss with your team after what you've seen with that run from George Brown?
Well, you have to slow things down on the offense, because honestly, you're missing so many opportunities to get a quick 2. We have to go back to that Nicole Tam situation where she didn't pay attention to that near steal. But on defense, you have to find some way to close things down. Ahmad.
And Ahmad getting the bucket. That was nearly a turnover right there. That went over the head of the intended player right to Ahmad.
And we've seen plenty of those plays here today, not only in this game, but in the other 2.
13-9 the score. Approaching 1 minute to go in the first quarter. St. Clair tries to set up on defense. Into the post. Goes Lawrence. Can't get it to go. Tap back out of bounds. St. Clair possession. Now, one of the things we discussed a couple days ago, and this was something that was with Coach Milan, one of the coaches in Milanis is the Milanis family, part of the assistant coaching staff for St. Clair. They worked on the post a lot in practices.
Well, they would usually get into foul trouble as Khalid Ahmad goes for the basket and foul. But once again, one of the teams that goes into foul trouble is St. Clair. It's because of those close fouls into the basket. Whether leaning in to try to go for that dramatic block, or it's just the ability of miscommunication, and you would have to take your aggression out on that foul. So for a player like Nicole Tam, it's as simple as just putting your hand up and just slightly tapping. Sort of reminds you of Bill Russell's method of blocking, because if you block it softly, you got an angle to go after it.
Yeah. And Ahmad, meanwhile, at the stripe after the hack foul.
And this is another one of those Saints players that are very powerful on the defense.
Absolutely. Ahmad developed over the past few years, started 5 games, played all 18 games. Season high 10 points was against the Sioux College on November the 17th. Under a minute to play in the first quarter. Down low, Stark. Pass back outside. Sauvé, the jump shot. Just grazes the rim. Once again picked up by Yelichny. Triple team comes as the pressure continues. Bozzi takes it up. Bozzi guarded by Lawrence. St. Clair resets their offense. Ahmad wide open down low for the bucket.
That's one of the easiest shots Khalid Ahmad has taken in this season. And it's just a nice backdoor cut to get that deuce.
Shot clock is off for George Brown. Lawrence sets things up. The second-year player from Ottawa has it poked loose. Picks it back up outside Sellers for 3 off the front rim. Rebounded for a second chance. Out the buzzer. No good. After 1 quarter of play, St. Clair leads 16-9 at their home gym in the OCAA Women's Basketball Championship. More quarterfinals action coming up after these messages. You're watching We Digital Productions from Windsor, Ontario.
Here, it's about you. Your passion, your skills, stepping up to the challenge. It's here where we rise above, soar to our full potential, and where we become work ready. St. Clair College. It's time to take flight. Rise above the ordinary.
Like our champions, We know what it takes to win. Every day we put on our uniforms and we strive to be the best. Ring after ring, we keep practicing until it becomes second nature. Our craftsmen have put in thousands of hours to master their trade. And when things get tough, we make the adjustments needed to stay on top. Barron Championship rings. This is who we are.
Welcome back, everyone, to Windsor, Ontario for more coverage of the OCAA Women's Basketball Championship. It's Game 3 of the first day of action here in Windsor. St. Clair leads 60-9. Justin Prince alongside Aaron Sanders of the Moms on Time Express broadcast booth. Your thoughts, Aaron, after the first 10 minutes?
You know, I found it interesting that one of George Brown's leading scorers have been limited to no points at all. Zay Sellers, 0 of 3 from the field, but that says a lot in terms of the defense. But on St. Clair's side, they've been sharing the ball, and it's been a well-balanced scoring game for them. But the question is, how far can you go without scoring? Because there were a couple of minutes where both of these clubs went without scoring.
Absolutely, as we're back underway for action. No good on the jump shot is Stark. Taken up, back up by Janica Serra. She's lined up with Tam, Yelichny, Tompkins, Logan Casera, the 5 for the Saints. Tam, pass back outside for deep. Janica Serra drains another triple, her second of the game. First time the lead's gone to double digits for either side today so far. Lined up on the floor for the George Brown Huskies. Lawrence lined up alongside Stark. Steer lined up alongside Ben Rowney, the 5. Sellers, jump shot no good. Fresh 14 for the Huskies. Sellers on the pick and roll with Stark. Stark spins for the jump shot. Again, no good. So far, 0 for 3 from the field to start the quarter.
And you know, it's interesting because they're getting some good looks, but they're not capitalizing. Logan Casera.
Quick shot, no good, grazing the front of the rim, right down to the Huskies rebounders, approaching 90 seconds of the second quarter. George Brown was 4th in scoring in the OCAA this season, 75.5 points per game on average. Allowed on average 60.6, that was 7th. Sellers gives it off to Ben, down the baseline. Final seconds of the shot clock, count it, and the foul.
And you know, it's a matter of hustling when you know the shot clock is against you. And what Ben did right there was just observing the shot clock and just trying to drive for a higher shot. But the good side of it is she was able to read the double team and take the contact.
And this is a team you don't want to send to the line either. Not just for the fact that Tompkins is now with the second personal, but this team is also second in free throw percentage in the OCAA, 69.8% as a group.
Nearly to 70%, and that spells out the discipline for George Brown, because they know when it comes down to the final few minutes of the game, they can always draw fouls and go to the free throw line.
3-point advance so far, 3 points scored by each side in the corner, as that one goes over Yelichny to the sideline and out of bounds, turned over by the Saints.
It's been a rough start for Nicole Tam's game as of late, JP. I mean, first, it's a little bit of a miscommunication the last quarter and just throwing the ball away, just overcommitting on that pass.
Lawrence drives and gets rejected by Bazzi. Taken back up by Yelichny. Outside Bazzi, down to Tam. Throwing pressure on the post, back outside, Bazzi for 3. Off the rim, battle for the rebound, no whistle, picked up by Stark. Taken back up by Sellers, the 5th-year senior from Minneapolis. Right now, open paint for the Huskies. Trying to set things up on the outside still. Lots of movement, Sellers. 5 on the shot clock, pulls up for the mid-range, can't get it to go. Yelichny now charges it back up again. Quickly given to Logan. Gacera has some space on the outside. Sets the pick for Janet Gacera. Gets it again! 3 for 3 from downtown.
And this time she called bank. She just kissed it off the glass.
What a start from deep for Janet Gacera. Foul called against St. Clair, however, on the reach on Bent's drive.
Take a look at this. It's just the ball movement, and Logan Gacera setting up that nice screen for Jana to let that shot fly, and she used the glass as a precaution. What a shot.
Indeed, by the way, the foul against Tam. St. Clair's second personal this quarter. Tam's first. Lawrence, quick shot, no good. Rebound picked up by Bazzi. 22-12 the score. Past 3 minutes into the second. Down the baseline. The drive draws a travel. Logan Gacera, that time, too many steps.
And that's the problem about driving right down to the baseline. You don't know how close you are when it comes to going right down to the basket. And once again, good coverage from Bronte Starks to just force Gacera right near the baseline to the point where she's stuttering in her steps.
Indeed. He'll be inbounded now by the second team All-Star, Victoria Lawrence. Given right to Sellers. Sellers, a first team All-Star in the East. Can't get the jumper to go inside the arc.
And she's still silent on the score sheet today.
Slow start for her in this big-time matchup. Pass to Bazzi. Gets the screen. Back to Yelichny. For 3 again. St. Clair this time no good. Picked up by Stark on the rebound. Taken back up now on the pass to Steer. Given once again to Stark. On the Euro step. Can't get it to go. Ball goes to St. Clair. Gordamod into the game. But the Huskies continue to be ice cold from the field for the most part outside that N1.
Honestly, it's tough luck every time you try to go for that nice Euro step and you can't finish it.
Absolutely, and this is the team that shot 37.5% as a group entering this tournament. Top 6 in the OCAA. 4 minutes into the second. Bazzi off to Yelichny, wide open for 3. Just can't get it to draw. Again, rebound picked up by the Huskies. Ball nearly tapped out of bounds. Lawrence takes it across the timeline. Finding spaces, Solveig can't handle the pass and turned over once again.
This has to be frustrating for the Huskies right now. So many opportunities where they could finish strong, but they cannot control the ball. It's just too many long passes.
What do you do at this point if you're the Huskies, though?
You need to slow things down. If you're going on the fast break, just make sure somebody's right behind you or right in front of you easily. Ahmad misses the shot.
And the Huskies pick up the rebound. We'll see if they go slow. They try and go fast and give it to Ahmad instead. Ahmad looking to pass it. Logan Gacera back outside. Stretching to the outside again. Logan Gacera drives it inside. Picks up the late whistle. She'll get the bunny ears and go to the line to shoot for 2.
And I've been saying this since the season started. Once you go right down to the basket, prepare for the contact. Logan knew what was going to happen, so she found an opening and went right down to the basket. She knew she was going to get a hand right on her.
There are at least 3 of them were trying to reach in. They give the foul to Solveig in the end there. For the first team foul at the corner, first for Solveig as well. St. Clair, but Logan Gacera, part of that dual threat group of twins, to say the very least. Logan Gacera, the first team All-Star this season. Jana, the second team All-Star.
And you know what? Last year was the other way around when Logan went down with that injury and Jana took care of business.
Now Logan Gacera tries to smother on defense. Lawrence, the jump shot. Off the side of the rim. Rebound picked up by Jana Gacera. Logan Gacera gets the pass from Jana. Logan passes out of the mid-range jumper. Gives it to Bazzi for 1 instead.
And sometimes that extra pass works out in your favor.
And that draws a Bubbers sheer timeout. The first called by the Huskies this half. And all of a sudden the lead is ballooned to the largest it's been. 13 points after this jump shot.
Look at the extra pass. Instead of going to the free throw line, Logan deked out Stark and Steer to get that open look.
Warren Williams now discussing things with his team He's the man wearing the sweater and the tie you just seen moments ago, with this team trailing by 13. Let's take a look at the West Division standings, by the way. And this was one of the main goals. They didn't want to just be the host of a tournament. They wanted to be contenders, St. Corbin contenders this season in the West.
You know, honestly, the whole season, it felt like they wanted to play to be deserving of that host spot, and they did it. Look at it. They're in the top 3. The only 2 above them is Fanshawe and Humber, who we're going to see later on tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. But at this point, what do you do if you're a Huskies fan, or really the Huskies coaching staff rather, with the offense having just one made field goal this quarter?
Well, you have to stop clustering on the defense. We're seeing a lot of double and triple teams being thwarted by an extra pass from St. Clair. But on the other hand, you have to find some way to get to the line, because all the shots George Brown has been shooting hasn't been working out in their favor.
Taking a look on your screen at some members of the St. Clair Saints volleyball squads. They were honored before the start of the second quarter here at the Sportsplex. They got ready for their provincial championships just a week ago. Back underway for basketball championship action meanwhile, and the ball sails out of bounds, just being touched by a Saint before sailing out of bounds. 4:30 to go in this first half, and one of the main things St. Clair has done very well, it seems, Aaron, has been defense, not allowing any open looks.
And you can see that multiple times we see them going in for the steal when George Brown kept on throwing the ball either with the cross court or just getting one extra pass too many. So they've been able to stay on their guard.
Substitution as Rachel Steers brought off, and Vanessa Vassell is brought into the game for the first time. Vassell passes it along. Sellers back outside Lawrence. 3 on the shot clock. Kicks it off a couple Saints. They say play on. Saints rush up the court. Logan Casera sets back up the offense. Spins inside the paint. Ahmad stretches the defense. Stolen away by Lawrence. The Huskies have been very active in forcing turnovers, especially down that baseline from St. Clair.
You just have to see that same tempo carry on the offense.
Lawrence now tries to carry that tempo into traffic. St. Clair trying to draw the jump instead. Free throw shots coming up.
We'll take another look. George Brown's just thinking methodically on what to do. You see, you got a screen right there. You could have just dished it right over to Bent. She was fresh off coming off that pick, JP. But the problem was, you know, they kept on moving. They didn't let the pick breathe and allow her to spread out.
Ahmad calling for the personal. You seen her trying to reach in on that. First free throw does not drop. Let's take a look at the stats for Sellers again. We talked about the importance of her for this offense. Leading score with 19.3 points per game. Ice cold as the jump ball goes on. She'll watch as the possession arrow goes to St. Clair, but not the game Sellers has been wanting to see, with having 308 total points in the campaign.
And you know what? That's just strange of her to perform like this so far today, because at the moment she's 0 of 5 and 0 of 3 from three-point land.
Logan Casera, meanwhile, gets it out of the pressure, given to Janet Casera. Again from 3. No good. Bazzi put back. Good with the right hook. And the rout continues. A 15-point lead. Bazzi pokes it loose. Taken back over by St. Clair.
The one thing to note on that last possession is when you shoot wide, you have to expect that rebound to be wide. And Noor Bazzi picked her spot while she was following through, and she was at the right place at the right time.
And for Noor Bazzi, it was a stellar campaign, mind you, with the second-year player for Windsor. Has come along very strong with their scoring. Defense has really come along, especially in the block. She makes the jump shot down the baseline.
And she rewards herself after a strong outing. So 6 points for the night for her.
She had a career-high 31 points earlier this season against Conestoga. That was back on February the 23rd. Meanwhile, the Huskies try and set things up with 6 on the shot clock. Lawrence over Bazzi again, forces a miss. Sauvé, however, on the second chance, draws the personal.
And this is how George Brown's going to get right back into the game. Observe those extra passes and observe how far you are.
Now looking at the stat lines for Logan Casera up on your screen after the Ahmad personal. Logan Casera led the way in scoring for St. Clair with 16.4 points per game. And mind you, that was 10th in the entire OCAA.
That's right, a total of 295 points, and she scored 20-plus points in 5 of those games.
And the interesting thing with her and Jana is their play styles are pretty different. Logan Casera is more efficient, seems on the inside. Jana Casera really good from deep.
And you know what's interesting, because when it comes to twins, you expect them to play the same. It's like Patty Duke, walk alike, talk alike, but their play styles are different, like you said.
29-14 now the score after the free throws. As Lauren strips it away on the pressure, however, runs straight out of bounds.
That's all right. That's just good hustle. And George Brown continues that same hustle. They may not able to let St. Clair to pass half court.
Nearly stolen away on the inbound. Bazzi gets the pass. Back to Nicole Tam. Logan Casera swings it to Jana. Tielichny open down the baseline. Easy bucket.
And that's what I like to call a set shot. She didn't even need to jump to get that shot because she was so confident that was going to go in. A lot of separation, and that equaled the easy deuce.
Taken back now inside the paint by Vassal, no good. Rebounded by Bazzi. Approaching 2 minutes to go in the first half. St. Clair leads by 17. Janica Serra drives away from the baseline, nearly loses it on the reach. Back to Tam, to Bazzi, open for three. No good. Chases down a roll, miss for a fresh 14. And a whistle called. Inbound coming down the sideline, it appears, this time for St. Clair.
It looks like they were going to reset the shot clock, and they do. But you have to give credit to Victoria Lawrence on that defensive possession because she was the one that almost prompted that broken play and stayed on the ball even when Bazzi got the second chance opportunity.
Indeed, Logan Casera pulls up for three, however, no good. Shot goes out of bounds, dribbling its way down the baseline and out. Under 2 minutes to play.
And Andy Kiss not happy about the three-point attempts from St. Clair lately. And I don't blame him because those are all shots that are not necessary. You're up 17. The way to continue the bleeding is stuff like that.
Another forced turnover on the full court press. Yelichny, 10 on the shot clock. Back to Janica Serra. Cuts baseline on the drive. Doesn't draw even the netting. Taken back up by Sellers. Pass down low. Vassal draws a hard whistle. Logan Casera call it for the personal.
There's no give up on that play for Logan Casera. She zeroed in, but it's just too much body to deal with. Zellers just finding the open man and Vassal.
And the first-year player from Toronto to the stripe. She's one of 4 first-year players for the Huskies this season. And onto the floor comes Kim Orden. That's a name we haven't seen too much of in recent months here, Aaron.
She played 9 games and started 2, but that was at the start of the year.
Yep. 2.2 rebounds for Kim Orden on the season. 18.8% from the field. Meanwhile, Vassal drains the free throws, was a 40% shooter from the stripe of the regular season. Barbara Shear timeout called on the floor. 31-16 St. Clair is the score. That's the final one for St. Clair this half. Aaron, your thoughts?
And you have to imagine Andy Kiss is taking these timeouts very wisely because once he sees an opening for George Brown to capitalize in, he calls it right away. Whether if you're up 15 or even down 2, it's a smart move.
And I find it interesting, the substitution to bring Kim Orden in this situation. Weird thoughts on that decision from Andy Kiss to put Orden back into a game in this kind of crucial situation.
Well, I think it comes down to depth, honestly.
We'll discuss that point after this because coming up in August on We Digital, a big moment here at the St. Clair College's campus as St. Clair Fratman football gets underway. That's a part of OFC action. You can see that on We Digital Productions, and that is huge for St. Clair because that is a part of the new sports complex that's being built on the other side of the campus, including their new outdoor stadium, going to be a main feature of that facility.
New outdoor stadium, new ownership, but the same great team, the St. Clair Fratman. I'm going to have to get used to saying that. St. Clair Fratman.
A lot of talent and part of that coaching staff. But we're back underway for action for this women's basketball championship with a turnover by St. Clair. 15-point lead by the Saints, stripped away by Lichny. Up on the fast break, can't get it to go on the drive. Tap back out of bounds. Possession goes back to George Brown.
Let's go back to what we were discussing about Kim Morton. It looks like Andy Kiss needed more depth, and especially George Brown saw an opening in St. Clair's defense. That's why they went to the free throw line. So when you raise up the depth, that's going to increase your chances of not allowing any easy shots to go for George Brown.
And you also don't want to lose your size potentially to foul trouble in the second half, maybe.
That's been one of their vices in the 2019-2020 campaign.
Meanwhile, Hack pulls up for three. Nearly wedged the ball. Under a minute to play in the first half. Janica Serra feeling pressure again. Has to stop. Passed across. Just got enough in time to avoid the 8-second violation. Ulichny down the shot clock. Bounce pass. Back to Ulichny. Foot on the line off the front rim. Rebound picked up by Tam with the fresh 14. Quickly puts up the shot for the bucket.
And I think what Tam was doing, she was trying to look for another pass, but you know what, honestly, when you have so much space around you for a second chance opportunity, just dip it right in.
Nearly stolen away off the hip of Janica Serra. Sellers sets it back up. Cuts inside the arc. Pick set for Vassell. Tries, no good. Picks up the rebound. And a jump ball called. Possession arrow stays Huskies with 7.7 seconds remaining in the quarter. Shot clock is off. Final Barber's sure timeout for either side this half. Called on the floor, and George Brown calling this timeout potentially for a good reason, Aaron, to try and drop a play because this is a chance to swing momentum into the locker room.
A good last shot opportunity too, so St. Clair has to be on their guard for the final play. George Brown, the ball movement is really well.
Yeah.
Finishing strong and executing a good finish, that's another story.
Taking a look at one of the last buckets here. You can see St. Clair trying to stretch that floor all game long. In turn, wide open paint for the second chance.
And see, Nicole Tam was able to get that rebound down with ease, but you have to be careful about how much time you take of thinking of either taking a shot or going for the pass.
Indeed. And you can see, though, Andy Kiss already saying, make sure your hands are up.
And this is what they practiced last night.
Exactly. Because you don't want to have an error foul. Already, George Brown is in the bonus.
And the only player that has a foul is Nicole Tam, one. That's on the floor at the moment.
Yes. Remember, players such as Tompkins with 2 personal fouls. 2 fouls for Amada as well. 7.7 seconds remaining in the first half. Huskies looking to even the gap. Bound is straight to Sellers. Drives it inside. And there's the foul they were potentially looking for. Both Tam and Orden in the vicinity.
This wasn't a matter of just having your hands up. It was just reaching right in. As you'll pay attention to Janica Serra just taking a swipe of the ball, and that's where the referee blew the whistle.
And the foul goes against Orden. You've seen Orden reaching in. Tam had the hands up in that situation.
Tam did a good job, but keep in mind, those players got their hands caught in the cookie jar.
That brings Sellers to the stripe. With 4.2 seconds remaining. One of the top free throw shooters at the stripe in the OCAA. 81.8% this season. Makes the second. 15-point lead. Bazzi blocked on the shot, blocked on the second. St. Clair still leads 33-18 at halftime. After 20 minutes of play, they look to control momentum for the start of the second half. But it's time for halftime coverage with Don Papa. Stick around, you're watching We Did It Productions, live from the St. Clair College Sportsplex in Windsor, Ontario.
Hey, Herman Moore here, Detroit Lions legend and 4-time Pro Bowl player. Hey, get your tickets and join me for the 15th annual Westby Awards on Tuesday, March 10th at the Caboto Club.
The 15th Annual Westby Awards are brought to you in part by Unifor Local 444, Lucier Glove and Safety, Hotham Building Materials, AM 800 CKLW, and We Digital Productions.
Are you passionate about a particular sport? Would you like to combine it with your education? Are you thinking about a career in one of the many rewarding construction-related trades? Do you love subjects like science, technology, engineering, or math? Take a look at the academies of the Windsor Essex Catholic District School Board. You'll be glad you did. And years from now, you'll look back on your high school days as the best times of your life. The academies of the Windsor Essex Catholic District School Board. We're with you all the way.
Welcome back to St. Clair College, the Sportsplex here in Windsor, Ontario. OCAA Women's Championship Basketball here on We Digital Productions. We kick into our halftime report. Before we get into all the numbers of that first half, we got a very special guest joining us here on the set here of We Digital Productions. She was a former player of the St. Clair College Lady Saints, an outstanding one at that. She's now coaching in California. She's visiting. She couldn't come at a better time. We're so pleased to have Kendall Rizzio with us, and thanks for being here, Kendall.
Thank you for having me.
Boy, what a time to come home and see some family, some friends, and boy, oh boy, you get to watch a little OCAA basketball championships.
Yeah, it was a little bit more than a coincidence. When I found out that when they were hosting, I bought my plane ticket that day.
Yeah.
I got a good deal on it, and it was at a time where I could come, so I was excited.
Already, we were talking before going on here live, Kendall, already 6 years that you've been gone, and it just flies by, but I'm sure you have some pretty special memories.
Yeah, I really enjoyed my time here at St. Clair, and I've taken a lot of lessons from my time here and moved that forward in the years since I played. I was in grad school. I've gotten a lot of experiences in coaching, and now I'm in my first year as a head coach.
Yeah, you had two coaches while you were here, actually. Ken Ambrose, of course, we lost Kenny a couple of years ago.
Yep.
Certainly, I'm sure Kenny's in a better place and resting, which he deserves. All the rest in the world, he worked so hard for St. Clair. And you also had the current coach, Andy Kiss.
Yes.
Of course. What was it like working for those two guys?
So with Ken, there was a lot of love and support. You could really tell that he cared for us, each of us individually. Myself and my sisters were on the team, and there were some really hard times in our family, and we could always count on Ken to be there for us.
Yeah.
With Andy, it was a lot more intense, but again, Andy always had our back no matter what. He was always really tough on us and found a way to push us, but he had our back no matter what.
Yeah. And of course, there was one other coach that you had mentioned to me, and I'm familiar with her, of course, Linda Carrier, who had a big influence on what you're doing now. We'll get into that in a moment, but tell us about Linda.
So I played my high school travel ball for Linda with WA, and I kind of, Linda is the person who really taught me the why we do certain things when we're playing basketball, how to play the game the right way. And she really shaped and formed a lot of my basketball knowledge and has really heavily influenced me as a coach now.
And of course, you were fortunate enough to win a medal as part of the Saints. Is that the best memory? Or it's got to be up there.
You know, I think so. Getting rewarded for all your hard work is really, really cool. It was a bronze medal. There hadn't been a medal in a little while for St. Clair, and we had a lot of seniors on that team. And it was really special for us, and to be able to do it with both of my sisters on the team, it was really cool.
I guess maybe the only, we'll call it unfortunate thing that didn't happen for you here, you didn't get to play in this place, Kendall.
Absolutely. I mean, when my first year at St. Clair, there were plans for this building to be open during my second, and I unfortunately didn't get an opportunity to play here. But I love watching the games live online and getting to be here this week.
Say it, We Digital. I like watching the games on We Digital.
I love
We
watching
Digital.
We Digital.
Give the plug. But we appreciate the fact that you do watch them, Kendall. You've moved on, and you've taken a lot of what was it planted in here in the basketball mind here, and you're now a head coach.
Yes, I love what I do. I loved it as a player, and I'm bringing that passion forward as a coach now.
Tell us where you're at in the league, and it's a lot of information, so I'm going to let you explain it to our viewers, because you'll get it correct. I'll just botch it, Kendall.
So I'm at College of the Desert in Palm Desert, California. We're a member of the California Community College Athletic Association, and we play in the Inland Empire Conference.
Okay. So how did that all come about? And boy, what a way to be able to make your living, something you love to do.
Absolutely. So when I was in grad school in Nebraska, my husband got a job in California, and so I went out to visit him, and I looked up and researched where's the nearest college, because that's what I want to be doing. And they happened to have an opening for a head coach. I applied and didn't get it, but I emailed the head coach that they had hired, and I said, I want to be a head coach and I want to learn. So that year I was her assistant, which was last year, and then this year she left to become an athletic director, and so I applied and interviewed and got hired as the head coach for this past season.
Outstanding. So a little bit of the roots from here pays off, and now you're doing something you love. Talk to me about your first year there as the head coach anyways, and still some growing pains going on there, and some things to be done.
I mean, I'm learning a lot, learning the ins and outs of the league and the different duties as a head coach, because obviously that's different than when I was an athlete. And we went through a lot of growing this year. We ended up with 5 wins, which is more than the last 3 years combined, and so there's a lot to be proud of and a lot to move forward from, and so really just looking to recruit and bring in girls who want to be a part of a change, to be able to say, I was there when it changed.
So it must have been a lot more to learn for yourself, I guess, when you start something like that. Obviously you're in a different country, probably even a different mindset.
Yeah, the style of basketball is different between the U.S. and Canada. I learned that I played my college ball before St. Clair in Iowa, and so there are differences, and to be able to bring a little bit of the different styles between the U.S. and Canada in my coaching, I think it's really beneficial for us.
Yeah, certainly. They're lucky to have you, trust me. You're pretty special. Let's talk about right here, what's happening tonight. Our Saints got a 33-18 lead at halftime, and like you said, you follow them online, which is great, but to see them in front, right up front and center, and playing the way they're playing tonight.
Yeah, so absolutely, not only the athletes on the floor, but this crowd that we've got here tonight. Packed stands. I love being a part of that environment, and the girls, they're hitting open shots, they're playing great defense on their press, getting a lot of turnovers, just really high energy and keeping the crowd involved.
You played for Coach Kiss, so you know what he's all about.
Yes,
Pretty intense guy,
Yep.
but like you said, he's got players' backs. What do you think he's telling the girls right now?
I think he's telling them to keep their foot on the pedal, because that's what he would be telling us right now. Don't take your foot off the gas.
I think you are absolutely correct. So good stuff, Kendall. Great to have you home. Continued success out in California. We're proud of you. I mean, I remember you here. I remember you came to the Wespies, all of those things, and you were pretty special. So they got a good one there. So enjoy it, and make sure you come back and visit.
Thank you. I will be visiting a lot.
All right. That's Kendall Rizzio, one of the great St. Clair College players of the past, and glad to have her here for the OCAA championships, that's for sure. A quick timeout. When we come back, Reed Innes will join me. We'll break down that first half of basketball. This is the 2020 OCAA, not the CCs yet. We hope to, but the OCAA basketball championships here on We Digital Productions.
Here, it's about you. Your passion, your skills, stepping up to the challenge. It's here where we rise above, soar to our full potential, and where we become work ready. St. Clair College. It's time to take flight. Rise above the ordinary.
Like our champions, we know what it takes to win. Every day we put on our uniforms and we strive to be the best. Ring after ring, we keep practicing until it becomes second nature. Our craftsmen have put in thousands of hours to master their trade. And when things get tough, we make the adjustments needed to stay on top. Baron Championship rings. This is who we are.
Welcome back to the Sportsplex here at St. Clair College. OCAA women's basketball here on We Digital Productions. The St. Clair College Saints taking on the George Brown Huskies. It's halftime right now. The Saints with a pretty comfortable lead, 33-18. Joining us at the break here is our basketball analyst, Reed Innes. Coach Innes, you know, hometown, I mean, a lot of advantage. We've got a great crowd here tonight. Looks like the Saints have really come into this game here tonight, at least in the first half. Pretty focused team here, Coach.
Yeah, absolutely. They came out, you could tell they were ready to play. They had, I can't remember if it was four out of 5 or 5 out of 6 their first possessions. They knocked down open jump shots. Also helps that there was some threes mixed in there. Really helped them get going. The big thing, I think, more than anything, they've handled the pressure well. George Brown's trying to press the whole game, and that's what they do, which is very typical for teams coming out of the Eastern or the East Division. But St. Clair's handled it really well, and they've gotten some easy open looks off of that.
Yeah, they've handled that well, but you know, the focus and you look at the crowd here tonight. Let's talk quickly about that, Coach, before we get into these highlights. Coach Andy Kiss talked about it at the top of our broadcast here, how this is definitely an advantage for them, having the games here, and you know, by the crowd here tonight, you'd have to agree with them.
Absolutely. There's a definite home court advantage these days. It's grown over the last few years. Obviously, Coach Kiss has had the program, you know, at a high level for a long time. But as the student population has grown here, the attendance has grown here, and it just, when you're winning and things are going well, the crowd gets into it, and you can feed off of that as a player. And even as a coach, you feed off of it, and it wants you to keep going, keep pushing.
Let's take a look at some of the video, some of the key plays. Here we see a George Brown basket off a foul. Not enough of that for George Brown, obviously, but full credit to the Saints. Right here, you're going to see a block shot from Nora Bazzi. And the Saints really, Coach, again, we talked about how well they're shooting. We'll see an example of that here in a moment.
Yeah, absolutely. The big thing, it's not even necessarily that they're knocking down the shots. It's that they're looking for one another and finding open shots. I mean, anybody can shoot, but when you find a little bit of patience, you move the ball, you get the easier basket, good things happen, and then you get that confidence going. It makes it easier to hit those outside shots. The ones maybe where it's contested, just makes the game a whole lot easier. You can see there's a lot of ball movement here.
Yeah,
it's great to see.
And of course, you just talked about it. You alluded to it there, Coach Innes, where you know the pressure that George Brown's trying to put on not working. The Saints were prepared for this.
Yeah, you can tell they've been watching some film. They've handled pressure all year long. They've handled it well. I think this is a little bit different look. They stay in strictly a zone press, but they've got the ball handlers to beat it and get up the floor and then get into their offense.
Look at some of these numbers here, Coach Innes, and you look at you know, the three-point field goals. A huge differential there.
Yeah, I mean, St. Clair they're not what I would say a really strong shooting team typically, but they take really good advantage of the opportunities they get. You can see 32%, it's not great, but it's pretty good, especially when you consider they've had a lot of contested shots where I even think there's a lot of contact and maybe it could have gone to the line, but obviously they didn't, so it ends up being a missed field goal. That works against you, but they're doing well all in all. I'd like to see them personally get to the free throw line a little bit more. When you only see 4 attempts, that tells me maybe they're spending a little too much time on the perimeter. And Coach Kiss, I heard him yelling that a few times to attack the basket and get the easy looks. It makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, that's a great point you bring up there. And whereas you look at George Brown, 7 of their 18 points have come at the charity stripe. Yeah. So they are sticking around a little bit because of that, and you know, taking advantage of that. But the numbers really are not overwhelming by any means.
No, the score it looks a little outstanding, but the numbers themselves are fairly even, which could lead to a pretty even second half, and you could end up with a game in the fourth quarter.
All right, good stuff, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Quick timeout. When we come back, it's the call of the second half. The Saints and George Brown set to do battle again. This is the OCAA Women's Basketball Championships on We Digital Productions.
I want to understand why.
I want this to be perfect. I want to be inspired.
I want to be challenged. No matter the reason, our passion to learn brought us here.
Welcome back, everyone, to Windsor, Ontario, where the St. Clair Saints lead 33-18 in this OCAA Women's Basketball Championship matchup for the quarterfinals. Justin Prince alongside Aaron Sanders, the Monson Time Express broadcast booth. Aaron, what are your thoughts as we get ready to start this third quarter with the Saints up 15?
You know, I find it quite disappointing that George Brown is shooting a total of 16% from the field. You think with a lot of shot choices they've been getting and just strong defense, they'd be down by at least 5 or 6. No, that's not the case. In the second quarter, they shot 7%, which is very detrimental. So they have to find some way to open an opportunity to get some baskets.
They get the ball back after St. Clair misses their first shot from the field. And Lawrence responds back by trying to whistle. And that was talked about just moments ago. That was one of the positives for the Huskies getting to the line.
Yeah, scoring 7 points from the charity stripe compared to the 18. And then that good drive from Victoria Lawrence. So that's probably been one of the keys to come into the second half. Get right back into this game by going to the free throw line.
Lawrence makes the first of 2. Now that's 8 of their 19 points from the stripe on the floor for the Huskies to start this third quarter. Lawrence lined up alongside Steer, Sellers. Rounding the 5 is Sauve alongside Bent. No good on the second free throw. Rebound picked up by Norbazi. Give it to Logan Casero. Back up top to Jenna Casero. Back to Logan. 15 on the shot clock. Off to Yelichny. Yelichny off to Jenna Casero. Goes for the mid-range. Gets to the trap.
So from going outside to slowly going in, she was able to take that extra step to get the mid-range jumper.
Here comes more of that zone press. This time, Sellers breaks through it, finding Sauve for the nice backdoor.
And how many times have we seen them utilize that backdoor pass?
More than a few times, to say the very least. On the floor for the Saints, meanwhile, Logan Casera, Janet Casera, Anya Lichny, Nora Bazzi, Kirsten Tompkins, the 5. Outside, Bazzi for 3. Off the front rim, Tompkins rips down the rebound. Bazzi passes out of the double team to Janet Casera for 3. Can't get it to go. Bent picks up the rebound, the 5'8" guard. Lawrence comes out of the pressure. Approaching 90 seconds into the third quarter here on We Digital Productions. Lawrence gets it in the post, spins by Tompkins for the bucket.
That was nice. And you heard me say in the second quarter, if Victoria Lawrence could get something going, then that could be the go-to lady that George Brown needs to refer to.
Lawrence was 1 for 9 for the field in the first half for 2 points. Quickly got her first 2 points of the second half. Stealing it away is Lawrence. Taking it coast to coast for the bucket.
Janet did a good job not trying to commit a foul on that, because once Victoria Lawrence took that ball away, there is no point in just getting right back. Logan.
No good on the contested jump shot, out of bounds off Adora Bazzi. First substitution of the quarter coming in, and quickly Coach Kiss bringing in some size, bringing back Tam onto the floor.
You know what? I've been impressed with Nicole Tam's play. I mean, we're not talking about the scoring. We're talking about her ability just to open up, try to box out and everything, and stay out of foul trouble. She only has 1.
Indeed, and 2 players dive to the floor. St. Clair gets the possession.
It's hustle is that position again. You're right near the sideline. What can you do?
That will bring Norbazi for the inbound down the sideline, and a fresh 14 for the Saints. And a jump ball right back. Possession arrow goes the other direction now.
And that's the beauty of the possession arrow. When you know that it's working in your favor and you're just zeroing in on a loose ball or a tie-up, you take advantage of that and try to start off new.
Good start to the quarter for the Huskies. 7-2 run in the first 2.5 minutes. Steer passes away from the baseline. The drive. Underneath the hoop, it's good from Bent.
That's just pretty. That is pretty basketball, as they were able to get a good look and to finish it off magnificently. Great reverse.
Making a 9-2 run for George Brown this quarter to start. Yelichny gonna break up the run. Bazzi pass to Janica Sarah. 6 on the shot clock. Picks up by Tompkins. And Bent calling for the personal. Second foul against Bent this game. First foul of the quarter for George Brown.
It all started down right in the corner. Kirsten Tompkins was just setting up for that pick.
You've seen Bent that time stepping into the path and trying to reach in. Instead, it's now a fresh 14 for St. Clair. 8 on the shot clock. Yelichny stepping back, just hits the front of the rim. Bent once again active on the glass. Had 3 rebounds in the first half. Steer quickly pulls up with a shot. Way off the mark. Tompkins passes into the space. Yelichny, the pump, and the travel. Trying to get Lawrence to jump instead. She pivots her foot.
And that's a problem when you're going right down to the basket. You're trying to adjust your speed accordingly, but you don't pay attention to the play. Look at that right there, the stutter. And Victoria Lawrence was anticipating that, just trying to close out. Ball goes the other way.
And that's given right back to St. Clair after the George Brown possession, quickly given away by Steer. 35-27 to score, approaching 4 minutes into the third quarter. St. Clair led by as much as 17 points this game. Ball tapped out of bounds, stays Saints possession. Logan Casero ready to come back onto the floor. Remember, she had came out for Tam previously. It looks like they'll undo that previous substitution after seeing George Brown's quick run here.
And when it comes to a quick run, you have to go back to your resources and think of a fast way to get back into this.
Logan Casera steps into Bent. Bent steals it away. Lawrence slowly brings it up this time. Wide open paint for the Huskies. Bent cuts into space. Knocks over Logan Casera, picking up the second chance, just misses off the front of the rim. Taken back up by St. Clair. Bazzi to Tompkins. Janica Serra cuts into space and one. Draws contact on the right shoulder. And the crowd going wild after this play.
Oh, anytime you have a go-ahead bucket from a back door, you take advantage of it, and Bent was just swiping right there for the foul.
That was on the head, not the shoulder. Wow. That was on the top of the head like a bump.
It's still considered drawing contact regardless. I get what Bent was trying to do, trying to stop any ways going to the basket, but when you can't capitalize on that back door and shut them down, there's no point in just guarding them at that point.
And one converted, 38-27. Back to double-digit lead. Trying to change that is Lawrence. And drawing the whistle this time. Tompkins really trying to smother. She's in foul trouble, though. Her third personal, Ahmad, quickly rushing to the scorer's table for the substitution. She'll come in for Tompkins.
The way Kalulu Ahmad has been playing defensively, I don't blame Andy Kiss. In addition to the foul trouble and how Ahmad has been performing lately, this is a much-needed change.
And Ahmad was actually the leading scorer in the first quarter for St. Clair, too, when she played 8. She's played 8 total minutes. 1 rebound, 1 steal, 5 points, whistle blown, baseline inbound coming up.
And like I said before, this is how the Huskies are going to get right back into the game. Find some ways to go to the free throw line, and the rest will play itself.
Ahmad now in foul trouble, because you'll see right here, that's her third.
And we're seeing most of those fouls is from St. Clair overcommitting on a play.
And that's quickly going to bring in Nicole Tam onto the court for St. Clair. Given back outside. Sellers, 10 on the shot clock. Stepping back, foot on the line, off the front of the rim. Ben picks up the second chance at a fresh 14. Sellers again, draws the overcommit. Back outside, Ben, stretching her range, can't get it to go. And again, Bazzi tracks down the rebound. Able to pass it out of the double team, approaching halfway through the third quarter. Yelichny off to Bazzi. Bazzi to the post, stolen away by Lawrence. Wide open space. Janica Serra comes on the defense. Lawrence can't get it to drop. A big time miss and a big time moment. Janica Serra in response for the mid-range. She misses off the front rim. Tam can't get the putback. Logan Casera's third chance drops.
And where was the help on George Brown's defense? They stood around there parking at the three-point line.
And because of that, it's now a 13-point lead for St. Clair. Offensive foul caught against Sauvé. Her second personal. George Brown's third team foul this quarter.
And how often do you see the smile on Janica Serra's face? She was right in the right position, ready for that charge.
Substitution onto the floor. Hack coming in for George Brown after the offensive foul. St. Clair all of a sudden swing the momentum back in their direction. Remember, the Saints in the regular season 8-2 on their home floor. Yelichny draws the kick ball all the way to the scorer's table and to the Huskies bench. Our substitution will bring Stark back in. This was a combination we've seen a bit of in the first half, Aaron, with Stark and Hack coming in around this time in the first quarter.
Absolutely, because they've been open for so many wide-range shots, but when it comes to defense, that's where their speed takes care of everything.
Quick shot drops.
And Hack wasn't expecting Logan Gazera to cut right in for the basket.
St. Clair taking advantage once again that time of the defense. 15-point lead. Bent back outside. The shot way off the mark from Hack. Picked up with a second chance. Shot clock still at 7. Sellers calls for the screen. Gets a bit of space. Still smothered. Drives by Janica. Sarah gets it to roll in. And that is just her second made field goal this game. Just 4 points for the leading scorer for George Brown. North Bozzi sets up the play for St. Clair. Tam draws the reach. 14 foul against George Brown. The 4th personal against Bent as well. Majority of those fouls have come this quarter, Aaron.
Well, whether if you're trying to tap that ball away or try to regain control of the post, it's still going to be a foul whenever you're right behind.
You can see that quick cut. Logan Casero for the bucket. Jana Casero getting the inbound this time. Given back to Jana. Jana fades back for the jump shot. Can't get it to go. Bent that time of the rebound. Bent with 3 personals. Check that on the floor for the 5'8" guard. While Sellers nearly fell backwards and can't get the shot to go. Bazzi, open space to Logan Gacera. Over her defender, way off the mark. Tapped out of bounds. Huskies get possession. Approaching 3 minutes to go in this third quarter, and the Huskies continue to try and claw away at this gap. The last time they lost a game, January the 21st. And another whistle drawn. You can see it's a surprise on Bazzi's face. That's her first personal. And the 4th team foul. And that will also bring in a substitution, Orton onto the floor for her second stint this game.
And you know, it's quite interesting to see Orton on the court, like you said, in the second quarter, getting the experience she needs.
Especially in a big-time moment. 13-point lead for the Saints. 42-29 the score for the Huskies. The drive down the baseline. It's good from Hack. Yelichny now brings it back up for St. Clair. Janica Serra giving off to Logan. And offensive foul called. That's going to go back the other direction, and now that's going to put the Huskies in the bonus for the next 2 minutes and 35 seconds. Remember, though, because the offensive foul, still have to inbound the ball. They won't go to the stripe on that trip.
That's right, and we take another look at this play, and it was Janica Serra who just shoved Zay Zellers right near the elbow.
Got her second personal, and now the Huskies have a chance to bring it back to single digits again. Finding space, Stark, rejected by Tam. And Logan Casero reaches in. Logan second, that time coming on the arm.
And that's what happens when you have so much action right now to the free throw line. You met by the triple team. You start off with the Tam block, but the rest of it is just pure happenstance.
That brings Solveig to the strike. The 4th-year player from Vancouver, studies business administration, had 2 double-doubles this season, Aaron.
So her 4th year from Vancouver. Yep. This could be her final go-round.
Able to make the free throws to bring him down to a 9-point deficit. St. Clair having to pass it quickly, getting across the timeline. Logan Gacera, the bullet pass down low. Orton way off the mark. Second chance, Logan Gacera draws it, count it, and the foul.
What a sequence. I mean, they beat the 8-second violation with that baseball pass. And how about that extra pass going right inside? Kim Horton out of the picture, but Logan Casera following through on the play, and a tough and one.
Lawrence called for the personal. Logan Casera completes the N1 sequence. Gap is up to 12. Lawrence giving off once again to Stark. Back to Lawrence. Back to Stark. 12 on the shot clock. Stark inside the lane. No. Sauvé, the second chance. It's good.
And Sauvé has been a bully on the boards into the first half with 8 rebounds, and that one gets her closer to a double-double despite around 8 or so points.
Now a whistle drawn. This time it will bring free throws for St. Clair on the drive. And a conference call for the Huskies after that shot.
Good play from Kim Ortons to find Casera, and Sauvé just trying to put an exclamation mark on the play.
Sauvé's third personal, as the first one does not drop. Still a 10-point advantage. Remember, the winner of this matchup takes on the winner of the Sheridan Humber game, taking place at approximately 8 p.m. Eastern. You can see that on We Digital Productions. Many of those players and fans watching along as well in the stands here at the Sportsplex.
Yeah, we see A.J. Sharma at the other end of the court. He and the Humber Hawks observing the action right now.
Quickly, Stark from the free throw line. Yes, she's got it.
And that's what George Brown should have done in the first half. Just spot up and shoot right away.
Logan Casera spots up, shoots, doesn't drain it, however.
And you can see St. Clair very quiet from three-point land in this third quarter.
After having a good start from deep, Lawrence, however, driving in, draws contact, and to the line once again go the Huskies.
And Lawrence did not let up. She kept on with the dribble. Knew Nicole Tam was going to commit, so she was able to get that Euro step and the foul.
Tam's second personal. And the first free throw drops from Lawrence. Was 10th in the OCAA entering the tournament in free throw percentage, 77.2%. Finished the season 4th in steals in the league, 9th in total points. She drains both free throws. The gap is down to 7, one of the smallest leads St. Clair has had all half. Orden across to Yoichny, across court, stolen away. Sellers leads the fast break. Finds Hutt for the quick transition bucket.
And back and forth we go, as you would usually say, is from George Brown's fast break.
And that one stolen away off the turnover. The pass off the mark. And all of a sudden, as Norbazi comes in, the wheels start to come off the bus.
Yeah, St. Clair needs some energy right now, especially on the defensive end, because they haven't found any answers to stop George Brown on transition.
5-point lead for the Saints, 46-41. And another whistle drawn. Again, George Brown has a chance to reduce the lead to single possession after the foul.
It would be the closest they would get this game since the early moments.
Yoichny's first personal. Both teams are in the bonus. First one is good from Sellers. Sellers, one of the top passers in the league, 75 assists. Was also 6th in total points, Aaron.
And 4th from the free throw line, too.
And she makes both in this crucial situation. Under 40 seconds to play in the third quarter. Yoichny off to Logan Casera. Across the timeline goes Nicole Tam. Across to Jenna Casera. Pulls up for 3. Can't get it to go. Sellers picks up the rebound. Poked loose by Yoichny, but the foul called. Either way, poke down that sideline, check that, is out of bounds is what the ruling is. Right down the sideline, that could have gone either way to a foul or the out of bounds.
Well, good heads-up play from St. Clair to follow through. So now you have 27 seconds, so George Brown could possibly go for a 2-for-1 opportunity.
And they're right now discussing things here, the officials here, and that looks like they will keep the sideline inbound from half court. Sellers. Giving off once again to start. Swan around the outside for three. Sauvé to tie. No good. Janica Sarah picks up the glass. Shot clock is off. Norbazi pushes the tempo. Jelichny. Open Tam. Out of the pressure. Jelichny for the long two. No good. Picked up by Bazzi. 5 seconds to go. Janica Sarah for three. No. Jelichny. No. Tap back out. Either way, St. Clair, with 1 quarter to go, leads by just 3. 46-43 the score after 30 minutes of play. We'll be back after these messages. You're watching We Digital Productions, live from the St. Clair College Sportsplex in Windsor, Ontario.
Like our champions, we know what it takes to win. Every day we put on our uniforms and we strive to be the best. Ring after ring, we keep practicing until it becomes second nature. Our craftsmen have put in thousands of hours to master their trade. And when things get tough, we make the adjustments needed to stay on top. Baron Championship rings. This is who we are.
Welcome back, everyone, to the St. Clair College Sportsplex in Windsor, Ontario for more coverage of the OCAA Women's Basketball Championship on We Digital Productions. Justin Prince alongside Aaron Sanders, the Monts on Time Express broadcast booth. Just a one-possession game after a 25-13 third quarter advantage by the George Brown Huskies. My goodness, what a third quarter from them, shooting 45% for the field, Aaron.
And you know what's incredible? They shot 7% in the second quarter and 16% overall in the first half, and that skyrocketed to 28 at the moment. They limit St. Clair to 24% from the field, 45% were the George Brown Huskies in the third quarter, but you have to think of it. It came down to the defense and the foul trouble that St. Clair has. That's a +3 in terms of personal fouls. St. Clair 14, George Brown 11.
Now it's the matter of who controls the tempo in the fourth quarter in front of a crowd of 986 fans at the St. Clair College Sportsplex. Backing away for the start of the fourth. Jenica Sarah blocked on the first shot of the quarter. Sauvé picks up the rebound, taken up by Zay Sellers.
They could cut it to one or go for a tie.
Give it off to Victoria Lawrence. Lined up alongside Coco Sauvé, as well as Bronte Stark alongside Samuel Hack. Back outside, Sauvé for three. She's got it!
And Sauvé called that three. You've seen her celebrate after that one.
And George Brown's come all the way back from a 17-point deficit. Tompkins draws multiple reaches. Sellers tried to go in there multiple times for the strip.
And remember what I said at the beginning of the show, this is a matter of who plays the stronger defense. Both of these clubs are masters of the press defense.
And that has been one of the main differences we've seen in the late third. The press with the triple team draws the jump ball. George Brown takes possession.
And they're going to try to go for their first lead since the opening quarter.
George Brown led by just 2 for a few moments. At 9 minutes and 40 seconds to go in the first. A chance to have their second lead here. Lawrence in the post, doesn't even draw iron, nor Bazzi picks up the rebound. For Bazzi, it's her 12th rebound of the game. Shot is up, no good. Tam picks up the rebound. Multiple players jump on it. And the foul going against George Brown. One player trying to draw the jump ball by going over top of Tam.
Look at this, George Brown just keeping the zone congested as there's 3 players, and right on there, Bronte Starks is the first one to get a hand on it.
Sauvé is the player who went over top for a fourth personal. Jelichny no good. Tompkins picks it back up. Still waiting on the shot clock. Bazzi, the jump shot, it's gone! No, Bazzi just 2 points away from the double-double. Pressure coming from Ulichny. Lawrence, double team. Janica Serra with a reach back. They just get it across in time, but with 8-second violation. Hack drives it in to tie it at 48.
That should have been an 8-second violation. It's too close.
Tam, meanwhile, though, gets it Ulichny out of the press. One defender back. Janica Serra, open baseline, can't get it to go. Whistle drawn on the rebound. Stark picks up the board. Tam picks up the personal.
And my goodness, imagine if Jana would have got that reversed. I think this whole roof would have gone off. And then there's Nicole Tam trying to go for the second chance opportunity in the rebound.
Instead got the over and back foul for the second personal, first personal of the team. Third against Tam. Ball tapped out of bounds. Stays this end of the floor. Substitution coming in, Logan Casero.
Good hands from Manuel Lichny.
And you can see Logan Casero coming in for Tam, and St. Clair and Andy Kiss wanting to keep their fifth-year senior in for this huge game. Remember, Tam coming in at the start of the second semester for the Saints.
Yeah, it made a huge difference for the Saints front court.
Indeed. Meanwhile, outside, Lawrence, no good. Picked up by Bazzi again. Logan Casera can't handle the pass in open space in the transition. Instead, draws the reach. To see which way they rule this as multiple bodies went to the floor.
Sauve's out of the game. She fouled out.
And this is why. You see right there the bump. Sauve is done. Fifth personal. Third team foul. 20 seconds still on the shot clock as Sauve being checked out by the coaching staff. Janica Sarek giving a Bazzi outside from deep. Off the front rim. Fresh 14 for the Saints. Pass through traffic. Picked up by Stark. Jump ball once again. Waiting for the possession arrow indication. And it appears it will be at the very least inbounded down the baseline. Yes, stays that in with 10 on the shot clock. 48 all, approaching 2 minutes and 30 seconds into the fourth quarter. And what has been a thrower here on We Digital Productions.
Absolutely, and keep in mind with Sauve fouling out, that could be her career as far as that is concerned. That's if the George Brown Huskies don't hold on here.
Outside, Tompkins over defender, she's got it! Kirsten Tompkins with the triple, just 5 points this game, and the other way goes to possession.
My goodness.
The Sportsplex losing their minds. Take a look.
You keep in mind you're paying attention to the far side. But the action happened on the near side as just too much aggression for Victoria Lawrence.
Approaching 3 minutes into the fourth quarter. Bazzi to Janica Serra. Outside, Tompkins back to Jenna. 4 on the shot clock. Pulling up for the jump shot. Can't get it to go. Stark picks it up in a sea of black and green and yellow. Can George Brown respond is the question. Paint left open. Sellers pulls up. No. Second chance. Nearly off the side of the rim. That should have been a foul. No call on the play. St. Clair can't handle the pass up the floor. Off of Ulichny out of bounds. And man, oh man, has the pace picked up in this one.
Yeah, it started with St. Clair allowing themselves to get a better shooting opportunity, but George Brown keeps on adding pressure on the defense.
Huskies calling for some movement. Sellers drives it straight home, can't get it to go. Bazzi again on the glass. Taken back up by Tompkins. Down low, back outside. Ulichny for 3. Yes, she's got it! Ulichny with 8 points this game. Pass turned back over, intended for Bent. Barber's chair timeout called by George Brown, the first this half. And after coming back from 17 points down at 1 point this game, St. Clair has again stretched the lead to 6.
And this is the same mistakes from George Brown. Remember in the second quarter how they tried to cluster up for the double team and the triple team? Well, that left a couple of guys open for St. Clair as they were able to find Ulichny for the triple.
And they have just taken over the momentum in this building. You can hear the intensity here. And that's one of the things you have the potential of when it comes to being the host of a tournament such as this.
Yeah, that's right, home court advantage as you take a good look upstairs in the second row in this nearly capacity crowd here at the Sportsplex. Almost 1,000 people on hand here for tonight's game. But I hope they realize this is only game 3 of 4 of the first day of the championships.
Yeah, absolutely, especially with the chance to go and play one of these two teams tomorrow. Sheridan and Humber, after this matchup, will take to the floor for their quarterfinal matchup. Winner of that game takes on the winner of the current matchup. That starts once again at approximately 8 p.m. Eastern.
So the way I could summarize it, if you are in the Final Four tomorrow, you're in contention of getting of potentially hitting the podium by Sunday.
The losers of those matchups tomorrow go to the bronze medal game. Winners go for the gold and silver medal this Saturday. Noah Bossi gets the bucket. Leads up to 9 for the Saints. St. Clair bringing their own zone press. Broken through by Steer. Lawrence lined up alongside Steer. Stark lined up alongside Sellers. Bent the rounds out the 5 for the Huskies. Sellers with 4. Outside, Lawrence for 3. Too long on the shot. Picked up again by Norbazi. Given to Janica Serra. Passed off the hands of the Huskies, stolen away. Sellers takes it up. Sellers has the reach. Janica Serra poking it loose to prevent the fast break bucket. By the way, on the previous shot made by St. Clair by Bossi, that got her to the double-doubles. You take a look at the steal attempt.
And look at Sellers cutting through Bazzi and Janica Serra, just coming there with a rejection.
When it comes to Norbazi, 11 points, upwards towards 20 boards on the game. Sellers making her defender fall, can't get the first attempt. Second attempt draws the whistle. Just the second personal against St. Clair this quarter. George Brown of Saracen has 4 personals as a team. That foul, at time being charged to Logan Casera for 3rd personal. Sellers makes the first of 2.
This is her 7th point in the second half. Remember, she didn't have any in the first half.
So an 8-point game. She's now got 8 this game on the 2 made free throws on that trip. Pressure from the Huskies. Once again, Bozzi breaks through it. Outside, Ulichny gets it back. Gets Sellers to miss. On the overcommit, getting the jumper to drop. Pass goes out of bounds. They say it was touched by St. Clair. But again, this is the type of defense we've seen all season long. When it comes to St. Clair, they are known for bringing this zone press a majority of the games, and it's been working.
And you know what? They don't apply the press when they're on a scoring run. Once they feel it coming, however, they turn it on.
Stark just kept it in bounds off of that pressure. Sellers sizing up Bozzi. Spins into a traffic jam and draws the whistle. 2 more free throws coming for the Huskies again.
And Andy Kiss was looking for a travel call on here. Well, let's see. As Sellers did a tremendous job of getting Nora Bazzi off the crossover dribble. And then you go for the spin move. There's no travel there.
Second personal for Bazzi. 3rd team foul for the Saints in the 4th quarter. Second free throw does fall to make it now a 7-point deficit for George Brown. An absolute thrower in the quarterfinals. Logan Casera cuts in, mid-range, drops it again inside the paint. Approaching 4 minutes to go in regulation. Here on We Digital Productions. Jump shot in response back, no good. Logan Casera picks up the rebound. Ulichny leads the fast break. With space on the drive, no. Tompkins second chance, no. Third chance, nearly swatted away. Janica Casera resets. Ulichny for three, no. Picked up once more by Sellers. Taken back up, Lawrence. Pass to Lawn, nearly stolen away. Poke loose from Stark. George Brown keeps possession with 14 on the shot clock. And what do you do if you're George Brown at this point? You can see they're trying to pick up the tempo a bit.
You have to slow things down in terms of the passes. You have a couple players that are not ready to receive it.
See if they do slow it down. No, they go for the cross court. Steer, called for the trouble. Bit of a stellar step on the cut to the left. And St. Clair again has a chance to make it a double-digit lead on this possession. Taken up by Ulichny. Janica Casera looking for space on the outside. She gets it. Bonzi moves to the corner. Logan Casera on the cut. Gets it poked loose. Janica Casera nearly stripped. Tompkins tries to draw the jump ball. Gets it in a battle with George Brown. And possession arrow sets up for George Brown. And it looks like Andy Kiss wants a barber's chair timeout. His first one used in the second half. His team leads 61-52. An absolute nail-biter in this matchup. Take a look at some of these plays, though, Aaron.
You know, it's just the ball movement and the awareness. That's why St. Clair is right back in this game. Logan Casera at the moment has 13. However, Jana has 15. And Nor Bazzi just heating up here in the second half with 11. So you're basically having 4 scorers in double-digit figures at the moment.
The Nor Bazzi fan club has to absolutely be happy with this type of performance. But this was something we were potentially expecting to develop. There was at times where we were saying before that there was some streakiness in her consistency with scoring. It seems to have picked up in the second half of the season, and especially now in this postseason stretch.
And remember, she won Saints Player of the Week a couple of weeks ago with a 30-point outing in the regular season finale. And on top of that, it's what we saw during shoot-around yesterday. Them improving in the ball movement and the three-point opportunity. And Nor Bazzi was one of them that improved their craft, next to Anna Ulichny.
See, though, if the Huskies can close the gap. 9-point lead for St. Clair, 61-52. Ball on the ground. Janica Casera tries to reach from over top on the scramble.
It looks to be on Zay Zellers. If that is, it will be her second foul.
And that's a big one because that is the 5th team foul for George Brown.
And that's going to put St. Clair to the line because St. Clair did have possession by the time of the foul.
And Ulichny poked it loose. Sellers couldn't keep it and tries to respond with that foul over top. Do you think that it was a frustration foul, or was it just hustle, overcommit on the hustle?
You know what, I think it's more of a hustle than aggression because keep in mind, she was the only player down there. The way I see it be an aggression foul is like if there are like 3 players at the other end who could have hustled for the ball. But if you're just the only player there, then you have to hustle because you could also start a breakaway in an easy 2 points.
First free throw no good from Janica Casera. Second one brings the advantage up to 10. Approaching 3 minutes to go in regulation. Tap back. Bazzi can't keep the play alive. Says hello to the green curtain. Stays George Brown possession.
The defense not letting up as Andy Kiss is telling them to push right up. Here comes the full court pressure.
It's gone all the way to the half court to make its adjustments.
Look out.
A near full court inbound, stolen away by Logan Casera. Tompkins. Back to Jenna Casera. Logan Casera slows it down. Bazzi. Guarded by Stark. Gets the screen. Back to Logan Casera on the pick and fade. Drives it in. Passes it to Jenna. The touch pass. Tompkins, the jump shot off the back rim. Lechny picks it up in a sea of white and blue. Has it poked loose. George Brown possession. Lechny with the turnover in the press still keeps up for St. Clair. Lawrence nearly loses the tire. Passed across the timeline. Scrambling. And turned back over. Steer couldn't handle the quick pass. Lawrence sent towards the bench along with Sellers.
But you know what? Zellers did a good job trying to keep the ball in bounds, but they've been ricocheting passes near that area for the whole game.
Bazzi. Cross court to Lechny. St. Clair looking to close it out. Back to Jenna Casera. Double team stripped away by Sellers. First to pick up the dribble, taken up by Lawrence. Lawrence draws contact and count it, and the foul. Blocking foul is the ruling on Logan Casera.
How about the inside dribble from Lawrence? That's how she was able to explode to the basket.
That's the four personal though for Logan Casera. Ahmad coming into the ball game in response. And she'll come in for Logan.
And now you have some of the strongest defensive players for St. Clair, Bazzi and Ahmad.
One of the biggest trips to line so far tonight. Lawrence so far on the game, 11 points. Make it 12 on the swish.
To be honest with you, I think she's been my player of the game for George Brown. The ability to work defensively and try to find great ways to the basket. Look at that, 8-second violation coming up.
Taken away by George Brown, chucked up and making the loan to his Sellers.
Wow.
4-point lead for St. Clair. And a whistle drawn, Jenna Casera to the line to shoot two, Lawrence on the reach. Trying to tug away the basketball from Jenna Casera.
And we know Casera was just ready for the look, but Lawrence was just right on her.
Jenna Casera tonight, 16 points. Started the night hot, 3 for 3 from deep. But has been called from the stripe. Her second missed free throw in the past couple minutes. Second one does fall, but that could be a big miss.
3 of 6 at the field right now.
From the free throw line, yes.
No correction. 4 of 7.
Meanwhile, George Brown looking for the big bucket. Lawrence for three, she's got it! Single possession lead for the Saints. Minute 43 to go in regulation. Bazzi avoids the double. Tompkins passes it up. Lechny gets it. Off to the baseline. Bazzi for three. Yes, she's got it! Nor Bazzi with a big 14 points. Foul drawn up the court by Sellers. For Ahmad, it's her fourth personal. George Brown back to the stripe.
I want you to pay attention to a nice 3 from Lawrence to get things started, but Nor Bazzi's been having a terrific game. Double-double, 15 rebounds, and with this 3, 14 points.
Her second triple too. But a 5-point advantage for St. Clair. Sellers sets up for the second free throw. Makes the second. 4-point lead for St. Clair. The buzzer goes off, but the play continues.
And the clock is frozen right now.
Clock now rolls. That was an extra couple seconds. Bazzi still makes the three.
17 points, 15 rebounds.
Taken back up by the Huskies. And a whistle called. 2 more free throws coming up.
It's just a tremendous job. Everybody thought the play stopped, but Tompkins kept things going on. Instead of going for the go-ahead basket, they went into their safety net, got 2 passes down, and from the corner, it was Noor Bazzi with the go-ahead tray.
It almost looked like you seen a towards her left hand signaling. Might have called the number. But it's now a 5-point lead for St. Clair after the free throws. Timeout called by the Saints. Their second to last Barbara Sure timeout this half. This point, what do you think's being discussed in those huddles in this crucial situation?
Well, let's start off with the Huskies. If I'm the Huskies right now, you have to keep up that intensity. But you have to keep your head up, because when it comes to those broken plays, there are reasons why the broken plays are happening. It's because it's either you're trying to overcommit or you're trying to give an extra pass to somebody that isn't ready for that. That's caused those steals. Now we go over to the St. Clair bench. If I'm Coach Andy Kiss right now, I tell them, do not allow them to go inside the basket. Force them to make tough shots in the mid-range. We haven't seen them make much from the mid to long range lately, but you know what? When it comes to players, you have to shut down Zellers and you have to shut down Lawrence too, because Lawrence has been taking care of business on every part of the floor today.
You can see some of the play discussion, especially with the outside movement, potentially could be key on this play. Both teams are in the bonus. Minute 17 to go in the fourth quarter. St. Paul leads 69-64 in this quarterfinal matchup in the OCAA Women's Basketball Championship. And day number 1, chance to go to the semifinals on the line. Janica Sarah, the inbounder. Giving off to Bazzi. Swung around to Logan Casero. Back to Tompkins. 8 on the shot clock. Janica Sarah draws the pump. Tompkins to Bazzi. For 3 again. This time can't get it. Janica Sarah's second chance, no good. 24-second shot clock violation.
You have 61 seconds to make a big defensive stop right here, but that's going to have to wait because George Brown likes to talk to over.
Yes, they take a Barbara Shearer timeout. In this big-time situation, now they force the miss. What do you do now with George Brown on this offensive set?
Find some way to get the ball in the hands of Victoria Lawrence. If she goes right inside the basket, that's fine. That'll take you to the line. But if you do go for a long shot, I advise you, it better be the best-looking shot out there on the court.
Take a look at their huddle right now, as this is a crucial situation for George Brown entering this weekend. The last time they won an OCAA medal at all in the tournament was a bronze back in 2012. If they can come back and close a 5-point deficit and somehow get the W, there's a chance they can get their first medal since that mark.
That's right, because if you're able to win here, you have a chance to play for bronze, silver, or gold, because if you're able to get into the final four, that guarantees you a spot in either the bronze or the gold medal game.
And you don't want to go home at the end of day 1 of the tournament either.
Absolutely, and that's what happened to Lambton and Durham here tonight.
Setting things up are the Huskies. Lawrence, the inbounder. Bent lines up alongside Stark. Rounding out the 5 is Sellers alongside Hack. 1 minute, 1 second remaining in the fourth quarter. Inbound goes to Sellers. Sellers gets the screen. Lawrence finding space. Sellers pulls up, doesn't even try on the mid-range. Double team with Bazzi, stays St. Clair possession. Toss off the path off one of the Huskies.
Well, what do you expect if you're triple teamed right near the baseline?
Possession still saves St. Clair once again with 50 seconds remaining. Logan Casera back onto the floor. They will reset the shot clock to 22. One defender back for the Huskies. Logan Casera to Bazzi. Bent the defender, watches along to Jenna Casera. Hard foul, over top goes Hack. And the first-year player from Etobicoke jumped hard on that pump.
You can't spell, you can't see any better hustle than that. My goodness, she bit the fake. It was a scary moment there for a while, but thank goodness she's able to get up on her own accord.
Second personal for Hack, by the way. Stays on the court. Janica Serra to the stripe. Makes the first of 2. She's now 5 for 8 from the free throw line. 46.5 seconds remaining. Janica Serra with a leading 19 points for the Saints. Logan Serra quickly brought out. Offense for defense. Ahmad back to the court. Remember, Ahmad and Logan Casera both have 4 personals. Sellers, guarded by Ilichny up the court. Ahmad strips it away, taken away by St. Clair. Bossy up to Ilichny. And the intentional foul comes from Sellers for her 3rd personal.
It all started with the defense from Khalud Ahmad. What great defense to pressure the turnover near the baseline.
And now, there's the chance for St. Clair to close it out here. Ilichny makes the first of 2. Remember, she had to miss some time due to injury, came back, applied that right knee brace for the remainder of the season, and looks to try and close things out with the Saints as a winner.
Nothing but grit from Anu Ilichny this season.
She makes both free throws, leads up to 9, 31.2 seconds remaining. Huskies look for a miracle. Lawrence trying to cut in, draws a whistle. Janica Serra called on the personal. Janet's second, make it 3rd. And Lawrence to the strike to shoot for 2. They went for the quick 2 and burned 8 seconds in the process.
And Victoria Lawrence had no other option than to drive right inside. Saw Jana cutting right through to stop her in her path.
And Lawrence has been consistently piling on the points. Now 16 total on the night. One thing to note, Sellers with a phenomenal 4th quarter to help this comeback attempt by George Brown. She had 11 this quarter.
And keep in mind, perfect from the free throw line.
Lawrence makes both. Gap down to 7. Barber's chair timeout coming from St. Clair, their final timeout.
This is a good opportunity for them to seal the deal. They don't have to go ahead for the 3. They just need a tough, good basket just to get the job done.
Of course, following this game will be more quarterfinal action. The 4th and final game of day 1 of the OCAA Women's Basketball Championship. Sheridan Bruins taking on the Humber Hawks. Again, that is an estimated start time. There is the chance that's being pushed back, though, as it's now local time, 7:53 at the St. Clair College Sportsplex. Again, that's going to be a tough matchup for either of these teams, especially with Humber being one of the favorites that's being discussed throughout the tournament.
In addition to that, when both of these clubs played in the regular season, it was very close. One game went in the overtime, and one game ended up with a 2-point decision. So you're going to be in for a good main event to wrap up day 1 of the tournament. Remember, already in the next round, Algonquin and Fanshawe. So they'll duke it out to see who will play for gold or bronze Sunday afternoon. As for this side of the bracket, Humber and Sheridan are weighing the wings to see who their opponent will be tomorrow afternoon.
23.5 seconds remaining. Logan Casero with the ball. No intentional foul yet. Finally comes from Lawrence. It looks like that is the 4th personal for Lawrence. And they wanted Janica Casero. Seen a bit of the hip brought out by Lawrence to drive. Steer coming onto the floor with the personal. She'll come in for the first-year player in Vassal. First one no good, and that might be part of the reason why they wanted Jenna. She's missed 3 of them this quarter.
So still an opportunity for George Brown to get back in this game, but they have 17 seconds to get some points on the board.
Both of them no good. Rebound picked up by the Huskies. Needing a quick 3 or a quick bucket. Lawrence, outside Sellers. Too much time. Outside Steer. Can't get the 3. Jenica Silla draws the hard reach on the double with 2.3 seconds remaining, and that should just about do it.
And St. Clair will have a 6 p.m. game tomorrow against the winner of Humber and Sheridan. George Brown, unfortunately, seeing their season come to an end.
But it was a stellar game overall for George Brown, especially that comeback attempt, that third quarter. One of the best we've seen from any team this entire tournament so far.
And for Zay Sellers, that will pretty much do it for her. But what a heck of a career for Zay Sellers. Coming from Minneapolis, East Division second team, East Division first All-Star this year, and 4th in scoring. That's a career for the ages, and you can't be disappointed at that. I expect nothing but the best from her later.
Free rebound picked up by the Huskies, but St. Clair wins on their home court. 74-66, they're on to the semifinals. What a game, what a win. What a way to get yourself to day number 2. Post-game coverage with Dominic Papa coming up after these messages. You're watching We Digital Productions, live from the St. Clair College Sportsplex in Windsor, Ontario.
Mont's On Time Express has all of your delivery needs covered with a fleet of 50 vehicles, including cargo and sprinter vans, along with 24-foot straight trucks. It doesn't matter if the freight is big or small. Mont's On Time Express can guarantee safe and prompt delivery service throughout Canada and the United States. Licensed to broker freight throughout North America, Mont's On Time Express features same-day delivery service, along with a state-of-the-art dispatching system and live GPS tracking assistance. Mont's is fully insured and Canadian bonded and has certifications with FAST, CTAT, PIP, and SmartWay. Mont's On Time Express is open 24 hours a day, 364 days a year. To get your delivery moving, contact Mont's On Time Express at www.montsontime.ca or call toll-free at 877-250-8282.
I want to understand why.
I want this to be perfect.
I want to be inspired.
I want to be challenged. No matter the reason, our passion to learn brought us here.
This is going to be an exciting ball game to say the very least. As we're just about set to go, the St. Clair College Sportsplex.
Hey, Herman Moore here, Detroit Lions legend and 4-time Pro Bowl player. Hey, get your tickets and join me for the 15th Annual Westby Awards on Tuesday, March 10th at the Caboto Club.
The 15th Annual Westby Awards are brought to you in part by Unifor Local 444, Lucier Glove and Safety, Hotham Building Materials, AM 800 CKLW, and We Digital Productions.
Are you passionate about a particular sport? Would you like to combine it with your education? Are you thinking about a career in one of the many rewarding construction-related trades? Do you love subjects like science, technology, engineering, or math? Take a look at the academies of the Windsor Essex Catholic District School Board. You'll be glad you did. And years from now, you'll look back on your high school days as the best times of your life. The academies of the Windsor Essex Catholic District School Board. We're with you all the way.
Welcome back to the St. Clair College Sportsplex OCAA Women's Basketball Championships here on We Digital Production. The hometown team, the St. Clair Saints, hold on to win a very tough game, 74-66. They defeat the George Brown Huskies. The player of the game for the Saints, Nora Bazzi. Congratulations, Nora.
Thank you.
Boy, oh boy, 33-18 at halftime, Nora.
Yeah.
Looked like everything was under control.
Yeah.
What changed in that second half?
Honestly, I got to give a shout out to the Huskies. They really played their hearts out. You know, they played really hard, but I don't know. We slipped up a bit, but we knew what we needed to change, and we did.
Yeah, obviously, you know, maybe a little bit of a letdown in the second half, but certainly you found a way to get back on track.
Absolutely.
What does that tell you about your team, Nora?
Man, we're fighters.
Yeah.
We're always looked at as underdogs, but we're fighting. We're fighting real hard. We want that gold medal.
Obviously, a huge crowd here tonight, Nora, as well. How much did you feed off on that?
I love the crowd.
Yeah.
Last year I wasn't too used to that. We didn't have that much people coming to our games, but this year, you know, it really motivates you and it pushes you and it shows you that there's a community that cares and that wants you to succeed.
No, we all want you to succeed, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I guess now you wait. You're going to play the winner of this next game, Humber and Sheridan.
Yep.
You know, good test here tonight.
Absolutely.
Going to put it all in all of your heads, I'm sure. This is just going to get tougher.
Absolutely, yeah. We're ready. We're ready for anything, you know. We've come a long way. Like I said, we're looked at as underdogs, but man, we're hungry.
All right. Stay hungry, okay?
Absolutely.
Don't eat anything tonight, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
All right, Nora Bazzi. Go ahead, Nora. Thanks a lot. Nora Bazzi, the player of the game for the Saints. Tough game, though, folks. George Brown, as Nora said, and you know, good for Nora to recognize the effort by George Brown. They were really, really tough to play and made a game of it in the second half. So Saints will move on to play tomorrow. They'll also be a part of a medal game no matter what. So that's good news for St. Clair fans. And we'll just have to wait and see what unfolds here in this next game, and then we do it up again tomorrow. So that's the story. We're going to be back in about 20 minutes, 20 to 25 minutes, and we'll have the last game of the day. It's going to be the Sheridan Bruins taking on the Humber Hawks. That's it for now. Until next time, this is Dominic Papa wishing you a great night. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you again soon.